My loves, today we're going to talk about Mercury, not Freddie, although Freddie Mercury is like my spirit guide. We're going to talk about Mercury retrograde, and this is part 1 of an 8-part series. Now, if you are astrologically curious, this is for you. Astrologically adjacent, definitely for you. If you are astrologically disinterested and baffled, you just hang in there, girlfriend, because this is going to actually make some sense. I've been running my own experiments with Mercury retrograde for about 2 decades, and whenever I have to call my cell phone company, which I usually do during this time period, I take a little survey and I'm like, hey Jane, hey Connor at Rogers Network, are things a little busier than usual for you in terms of customer service? And he's like, yeah, like our what is it called? Not inbox tickets, customer service tickets, our CS tickets are just like off the charts right now. I'm like, you just be tracking. Mercury is the planet that rules technology and communication. And for a few times every year, it gets a little funky and you're going to get more phone calls. I want to walk you through this. And then over the next 7 weeks, I'm going to give you what I call the metaphysics of the days of the week and the major astrological configurations you should know about, but it's not going to be boring. It's going to be really relevant. This is all getting linked into my new app. Here's all you need to know. There is a Danielle Laporte app that is going to give you all these great things around the energetics of the days of the week and cues that you're not going to get anywhere else. And ideally, what is best to do each day of the week, like the moon rules Monday. It's watery, it's shadowy. Not the best day of the week to have meetings. Friday is ruled by the planet Venus, which is all love, relationships, connection. Actually, the best day of the week to have date nights. It's going to make a lot of sense, even if you've been like, that woo-woo is the poo-poo. It's the bomb, actually. It lives on mighty networks. You don't even need to know that, though. You get there through getheartcentered.com. Getheartcentered.com. You get the app. It's free. You get in sync with planetary wisdom. The intention is more flow, less force. And when you get aware and when you get aligned, you're going to have more of that in every department of your life. So in this conversation, we'll start with Mercury retrograde, since we are actually in that time period right now. As of July 17th, 2025, Mercury has stationed retrograde. It's one of those transits that even the astrologically disinterested and baffled people are like, hey, there's something to this. I'm like, I know, girlfriend, I know. What else do I want to tell you? Don't be freaked out about it. A lot of Instagram girlies get all freaked out about Mercury retrograde, but it's actually, and this is my whole point, it's actually a great opportunity for cleaning up and cleaning out. What I'm saying is the energy of the cosmos is supporting you to go deeper and to clean up the energetic and physical mental clutter with more ease. This is a great time to just get in there. So instead of working against it, we use this shadowy time, and it's a shadowy time, to clean up the emotional clutter in our own shadow and subconsciousness. It's actually brilliant. I love Mercury retrograde. I used to wah about it. Now I'm just like, it's coming. Let's get in there. And usually some inconveniences manifest. And I just look at each one of those as an opportunity to dance, to be more patient, look a little deeper, and to turn into a saint. Okay, so _ Mercury retrograde, prime time for letting go and slowing down. We're going to purge, clean out our drawers, the basement of our psyches. Crunchy emotions, this is the time you're going to feel them and you're going to let them pass through. We're going to become very mindful about how we communicate in this period, which will make us more mindful every other day of the year. We're going to really use this energy to create more space and clarity. Let me give you the heads up on the Mercury retrogrades for the rest of the year of 2025. If you want to get notifications and some support about this, you can go get my free app. So head to getheartcentered.com. Getheartcentered.com. You come into the free virtual hub, and then my now very popular astro and events calendar that syncs up to your Apple and Gmail calendar. Holy smokes. 3 exclamation points for that. I cannot tell you how long I've been waiting to try to make this happen. I talked to app developers 3 years ago. It was going to take many months and many tens of thousands. And now the technology is there. So getheartcentered.com, and dare I say, I don't know if it's going to change your life. It will make things easier, and more ease, less force is what we're here for. So this is what you need to know. Mercury retrogrades for the rest of 2025. Thursday, July 17th until Monday, August 11th. That is a retrograde. And then the next one comes on Sunday, November 9th to Saturday, November 29, 2025. Now, this is really important to remember. It does not get talked a lot about in the wellness, astro, woo space. There is a shadow period that usually runs 1 to 2 weeks before a retrograde and after. The reason nobody talks about it is because nobody wants to be the bearer of that, quote, bad news, because it means the energy of that kind of funky backwardness and having to be more mindful with communication and technology, it's happening longer than anybody really wants it to happen. So just tack on, I'd say about 7 to 10 days before and after every retrograde period for not doing the things I'm going to tell you to not do. Not that I would tell you to not do anything. I'm going to make some karmically, astrologically, life-informed, experience-based decisions for you. So let's break down Mercury. Mercury, the planet. So let me back up actually and say, think of it this way. Every planet has its own energy, personality characteristics. Earth is mama. Venus is relationships. The energy of the divine feminine and the divine masculine had a baby, let's say, and it densifies, it materializes in a body that we live on called Earth. There are other energies in this great vast universe that get together, coalesce, and materialize into the bodies of planets. Just like you are a soul named Jane, Danielle, Dana, Harper, David, Melissa, and your energy is, it's not the best word, but you're getting the idea. Your energy is materialized, is manifested, is densified in a body that gets a name. You are this planet. It's the same thing, kind of. I'm kind of stretching the esoterics a bit, but essentially it's the same principle for the bodies of these planets. So the energies that come together to make up the planet that has been named Mercury look after, they are the parent of communication, self-expression, coordination, travel, and technology. Communication, self-expression, coordination, you could think of that as systems, travel, and technology. That's what Daddy Mercury looks after very well. And when Daddy Mercury is retrograde, he says there's some cleaning to do. Mercury is the planet that rules over the 3rd house of communication. That's getting into deeper astro. I'm going to steer out of that because I'm not an astrologer. It also looks after the 6th house of details and daily routine. So we pay close attention to this around this time frame. So what is retrograde? About 3 times a year, Mercury goes retrograde for about 3 weeks. 3 times a year this happens. Not always, sometimes it's twice. Goes retrograde for about 3 weeks. It's not always 3 weeks. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. And what does retrograde mean? Just think cleanup, moving backwards energy, sweeping, okay? And it can cause some chaos, but there's reason for this. There's always, universal law. There's always order and chaos. So baby, we're just going to go with it. It's the best way to handle all planetary movements. Don't fight what's happening. You ride the vibe. Is this a shadowy time? Great. I'm going to look at my shadow. Is this a abundant, go make things happen time? Great. I'm going to get it done. So when the planets say new beginnings, then we start new things. And we will be blessed and supported. We'll have extra energy to do so. When the planets move into what we would call heavier formations, or in this case, a retrograde, then we move into that formation. We move into our heaviness. We clean up our own dark corners. And the cleanup is actually easier. It's actually easier. We harness it. So let me get a little more into the shadow periods. As I said, it's not often talked about with Mercury retrograde because it's a little bit dreaded. It's the approach and the hangover period. So the energy of Mercury retrograde, like imagine here's this big planet and it looks after tech and communications and all things systems, and it's getting ready to shake some stuff up, and you can feel it coming. You're like, oh, things a little funky, a little shadowy. About 2 weeks before it officially gets into, it hunkers down into its retrograde dance move. And then, it takes a minute to leave that position of how it's been acting. So about 2-ish weeks before and about 2-ish weeks after, it's wise to treat that time period like it's still a retrograde. So you got to hold on a little bit longer. You want to be fully in the clear before you go back to igniting new projects. Mercury retrograde, not the time to launch new things. We purge, we clean up, we go through our drawers, we go through our storage lockers. Please, everybody, let's get rid of all the things in our storage lockers. It's one of the dearths of society these days, is we're all working so hard to accumulate things to impress people who don't even know us, haven't even considered loving us unconditionally. We work so hard to impress them with our stuff, and so much of it ends up in our basements and our closets and storage lockers that we pay for, and some of that stuff we haven't even paid off. Oh, just be done with a storage locker. Mercury retrograde is a great time to reassess your plans. Is this going in the direction I want it to go in? Do I need to pivot? What dreams do I need to have a funeral for? It is a time when things from the past will naturally come up. You just watch in these time periods. You watch, because you're going to have this written down in your calendar, or you're going to be using the Danielle app, or you're going to get the Heart Center Day Planner, which the 2026 edition will come out. Oh, I think you'll be able to order it in September. You're going to be tracking this now, and you're going to see patterns. An old boyfriend's going to reach out. You're going to be like, boyfriend, haven't heard from you in years. And you're like, oh, my goodness, Mercury retrograde, that makes sense. You're going to bump into people, former people. People from the past will cross your mind. Doesn't mean you have to reach out to them, by the way. Just let the thoughts pass through your mind like the sky of your consciousness. They are clouds. Slow down, baby. Slow down. You might feel a little tired, might need that extra 30 minutes of sleep before you go to bed and when you wake up in the morning. Especially when a Mercury retrograde is happening during a winter period for you. Lord have mercy. It is not the time to go harder. It is time for ruminating and releasing. And when you really do that, you're going to feel extra fresh, extra strong, clear, and ready when things go direct. This is my personal list of how I make the most of Mercury retrogrades. I delight in them because why not? I'm delighted to be on the planet at this time. I'm going to go with it. And I'm really smart about it. Things I will not do during Mercury retrograde. So things I will avoid. I will not sign contracts ever. No more. Did it. I can look back on some publishing situations that did not turn out the way I wanted them to, like 5 years down the road. And I look back and I'm like, I signed that contract during a retrograde. Girl. So I just don't do it now. I may verbally commit to things, hire people, say, yeah, let's launch this thing together. Let's plan for the book. Let's plan for the masterclass. But I will not execute binding documents 1 week before or 1 week after Mercury goes retrograde. all things legal, no. And I have got the side eye. I have received the hairy eyeball from some people. Like, legal firms are just like, who's this lady in this Mercury thing? And I'm just like, you can hold off on signing it. You're going to have to, if you're up for it, you can trust my word, take my word for it. But I will sign it on this day, and it will make all the difference. You just watch. And I don't know if they're watching, they can just think I'm weird, but I have the history of sideway deals to prove it. I will avoid booking flights or making travel plans during a retrograde. Of course, I will travel. I will not be held back by any planetary thing. I'm going to just use my love, my light, my divine power to dance and work with all the push. Maybe a little harder, might be some more challenges, but I got to go. But I try not to book and plan stuff during a retrograde, Mercury retrograde period. I get some extra sleep. If I'm tired, I don't push. I just allow for the pause. I'm like, oh, even though it's summer and the sun's up at 5 a.m., I just need that extra schnuggle time. I try not to hire people, but if I do, I go back to what I just said earlier, which is come on the bus, join. We're so excited to get going with you. And then let's sign your employment consulting contract on this particular day. The things I do, like go forward and embrace. Literally, I try not to use the word literally, the week before Mercury goes retrograde, or that shadow period, I get myself a big bag, like one of those big blue IKEA bags, which I try not to own too many of, or a box, and I start walking through my house, my home, my little apartment by the beach, and I start putting things in. The books, the gently used cosmetics that can go to the women's shelter on the downtown east side, all the things. I don't even organize them. I'm just like, bless, release, thank you, don't need it, haven't used it. Anyway, you get the idea. And then at the end of the retrograde, I will organize it and it goes where it needs to go. I love the letting go. I will actually hold off on letting go of material things until a retrograde because I feel I will be more clear-minded and everything gets that extra blessing of the retrograde. So it's going to find its right home. In the same category of releasing, blessing and releasing, name of my new book, by the way, which is coming out on October 1st, How Letting Go Happens. Retrograde of Mercury is a great time to do a digital cleanse. So I go through all my Google Docs, my email subscriptions, all of my apps. On this note, business side note, there was a year when we knew we needed to do a scrub. We also needed to keep an eye on cash flow, and it was Mercury retrograde. So we gave everybody on the team 2 weeks to look at everything that they were subscribed to that the business was paying for. And, while you're at it, look at your own stuff. And with all the subscriptions and apps that we scrubbed and deleted and got off of the memberships and all of that, we saved $14,000 US in subscription silliness. So highly recommended to do that. I mean, those $3.99 things a month times, at the time I had 16 people, that stuff adds up. Obviously, this is going to make some of you squirm. The journal writers who love your journals, put your journals in the bins and you take them everywhere you move because you might need them. And you might need them if you are writing a memoir or if you want to re-traumatize yourself by reading about your past. Keep them. Either way, whatever works for you. I burn my journals about every 3 to 5 years, more closer to like 3 years. I'm really in the groove of it. And of course, when's the best time to do that? During a Mercury retrograde. I used to have a fire pit when I owned a home and a car, and I had lots of killer shoes before I let most of my possessions go. I had a fire pit and I would just do this and sit under the stars. Now I got to go find a friend. I got to rent an Airbnb with a campfire. I go through my journals. I pull out all the pages that I want to keep. Those pages are usually some bad poems that I've written or some ideas. But all of the journaling stuff and my therapy sessions, I don't need that anymore. I was there. I was there during that divorce. I was there during that challenging, forget it. I am there. It's integrated into my being. I don't need to go back. I will remember it if I need to remember it, especially for creating masterclasses and writing books. I got it. I have a podcast talking about the ecstasy of burning journals, and I don't know the name of the podcast, but we'll put it in the notes for you. I most definitely, during Mercury retrogrades, will do a write and burn practice. So this isn't just a metaphysical light thing. A write and burn is a practice that we have in the Heart-Centered Collective. We do a write and burn practice the day before a new moon. Day before a new moon. It's called the dark of the moon. It's the shadowiest, crankiest day of the month. And that is the day, just like Mercury retrogrades, you go into it. It's like, oh, why am I crank? Because it's time to look at the crank. So tomorrow you'd be less crank. So we do a write and burn day before a new moon. And then we also do a write and burn ritual the day of a full moon. Full moons are all about letting go, all about letting go. And we have that practice in the collective. Come into the collective, you can get it. I talk a lot about it everywhere. I'm sure you could, it's free somewhere on the interwebs. It's a set of questions. It's 2 set of questions. One particularly for the dark of the moon rite and one for the full moon rite. Can you hear the seagulls and the garbage trucks in the background? I'm just a girl with a microphone in my little apartment by the beach. What else do I want to tell you about that? Oh, I always follow up a write and burn practice with a salt bath. Salt, as you probably know if you've been hanging out with me, is one of the greatest cleansers of energy that's on the planet. It is from the body of Mother Earth, and her service with the salt of the earth is to help us get the debris and the clutter out of our auric field. That's the beauty of salt, among other things. So this is what we need to remember. You're working with the energy, not against it, with the shadowy energy. You're letting yourself go backwards, go retrograde, clean up, sweep, so that you're stronger, freer, clearer to move on. Trust the process. Trust the garbage trucks that I hope you don't hear in the background. Trust the pause. And trust that sometimes going backwards helps us move forward with more wisdom. I have a mantra to recommend to play for this time period. It's the Gayatri Mantra. I have a particular track for you. So, and by track, I mean a particular band, an artist, that's the right word. Wherever you listen to and download your music online, you can search for the artist, Meditative Mind. The album is called Mantras for Deep Inner Peace, and you want to look for the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra, so delish. It's one of the first mantras I trained with. I remember the assignment from my teacher was to do 108 Gayatri mantras every day for 40 days, which took me about 45 minutes to an hour every morning. And I was doing it. I had to do it in a particular astrological time frame. And it happened to be when I was traveling through France with I think Harper, my son, was like 11. And I was getting up 5 a.m. to do this mantra. And it was worth it. Because look at me now. The Gayatri Mantra is considered to be really the mother of all mantras. So think foundational. Think Gayatri has been chanted, recited, prayed billions of times by millions of people since who knows how many thousands of years. The intention is that it's all about bringing light, cosmic light, to the mind. It is all about dispelling the darkness of unconscious patterns. She's a juicy one. So the way it works, at least in heart-centered community, our approach is that you can play a mantra so low it's inaudible to you. you don't need to be hearing it for the mantra to be doing its cleansing and healing work in your space. So I have mantras playing on some device all the time in my home. I don't sleep with the Wi-Fi on, so I turn it off and then I'll put the mantra on my phone and it'll be playing while I sleep. You get the idea. So let me give you the translation of the Gayatri Mantra. This is a beautiful way to close up this episode. In Sanskrit, Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dimahi Diyo Yona Prachodaya. I probably added some syllables in there, and maybe a Zen monk would give me a crack with a bamboo cane, but that's from the heart. Do that 108 times and you will buzz. Here's the English translation. O self-effulgent light that has birthed all spheres of consciousness, who is worthy of worship and devotion and appears through the sphere of the sun, illumine our minds. I'll give that to you one more time. We'll just close out with that. Before I do that, keep coming back. This is part 1 in 8 parts of the metaphysics of the days of the week and Astro 101. And for those of us who are Astro sophisticates, which I do not consider myself, this is a review of the basics. If any of this is inspiring or useful, if you go and leave a review, a little 5-star loves thing, heart thing, wherever you listen to podcasts, it really helps us with the algorithm. I recently found out in the last few months that this little podcast is one of the top 2% podcasts in the world. Who I had no what. Thank you. Thank you for listening all the way through, forwarding it to your friends, or just taking it in on a walk and just thinking, this woo has moved me forward. Let's go with the English translation of the Gayatri Mantra. I will keep being here every Friday as long as there are Fridays. With love, Danielle. O self-effulgent light that has birthed all spheres of consciousness, who is worthy of worship and devotion and appears through the sphere of the sun, illumine our minds. Thank you so much for listening, for feeling, for spreading the word. With love.